And to that Supreme Court ruling overnight that will now allow the new abortion law in Texas to stand, effectively banning nearly all abortions in that state. President Biden calling the law an unprecedented assault on a woman's constitutional rights, vowing to fight. ABC's Rachel Scott from Texas tonight.
24 hours after the nation's toughest anti-choice law went into effect, doctors and advocates we spoke to say abortions in Texas have all but stopped.
You've already had to turn women away. You've had to deny abortions.
Yep, that's right.
At this Planned Parenthood center in Houston, Dr. Bhavik Kumar normally performs between 20 to 30 abortions a day. Since the new law, he's only seen 6 patients and had to turn half of them away.
Just yesterday, I saw somebody who thought she was earlier in the pregnancy. She was crying. And we began to explore options and think through the logistics of if she would be able to go out of state for the care that she needed.
The new law bans abortions after about the 6th week of pregnancy, before most women even know they're pregnant. In fact, abortion rights activists tell us nearly 90% of women seeking abortions here are past their 6th week. Part of what makes this law so unique is that it deputizes private citizens to sue anyone who aids and embeds an unlawful abortion, from doctors who perform them to drivers who take women to the clinic. Those citizens could then collect a bounty of at least $10,000.
Our creators endowed us with the right to life. Now, we're about to make it law.
Overnight, the Supreme Court refused to put the law on hold as legal challenges work their way through the system. Even though the justices found serious questions about its constitutionality, 5 conservative justices voted to let it go forward anyway, saying there are complex and novel procedural reasons for why it could not be blocked at this stage. 4 justices, including conservative Chief Justice John Roberts, dissenting. Justice Sonia Sotomayor calling the majority's decision stunning, calling the law flagrantly unconstitutional. Now most women seeking abortions in Texas are forced to travel to other states. This clinic in neighboring Oklahoma usually schedules appointments for 15 women a day. Since the law in Texas, that number has more than doubled.
For a 5 to 10 minute procedure to drive 600 miles in the middle of a pandemic. It's cruel.
David, President Biden called this law extreme, but at this point, there is very little the president can do about it. The fact is, there is a conservative majority on the bench. Former President Donald Trump was able to appoint 3 justices to the bench, and this week, all 3 of those justices were in favor of letting that law go forward. David?
All right, Rachel Scott in Texas for us. Rachel, thank you. Of course, this has been a decades-long fight ever since the Roe versus Wade decision in 1973. Let's bring in Terry Moran, who has covered the Supreme Court for years for us. And Terry, for decades, this has really been a theoretical argument. What could happen if the Supreme Court suddenly leans significantly one way or the other? This 5-4 ruling overnight. But Chief Justice John Roberts, a conservative himself, of course, signaling a willingness of some sort of a compromise, but conservatives, 3 of them, Rachel just mentioned them, relatively new to the court, didn't buy his argument.
They didn't. That was so striking, David. Chief Justice John Roberts, he's just 10 or 15 years older than the 3 justices appointed by Donald Trump. But those 10 or 15 years, they mark a huge difference in the Republican Party, the difference between Bush Republicans and Trump Republicans. And the Chief Justice did want the court to take more time to consider what he called an unprecedented law. He lost the votes of those conservatives, and it looks like this will mark the end of what's called the Roberts Court.
And one more quick question for you, Terry. Bottom line here, Texas would appear to be just the first state to do this. A number of other states already signaling they might follow this blueprint, particularly when they see how unique this law is, actually deputizing private citizens.
That's it, David. That's the trick that makes this law so different and so difficult for courts to get a handle on. By deputizing private citizens, it makes enforcement a matter of private lawsuits. And right away, that clever innovation has been picked up. Governor Ron DeSantis and Republican legislators in Florida saying they plan to introduce laws also in Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi, slowly, basically eliminating the right to choose an abortion across the country in the coming months. David?
Terry Moran live at the Supreme Court for us again tonight. Terry, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.